Ooh, Diablo 4 Season 3, Season of the Construct. Ooh, it's a season.
Cannot protect me!
Stop that!
Heroes, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Diablo 4 Season of the Construct and give my overall thoughts of the actual gameplay that what we have witnessed so far. And it's a season, that's for sure. So I wanted to give my pros and cons, and specifically my final con is probably what's the most important to take into consideration here. So let's continue with the pros. My one pro is that it's a reintroduction of the companions. We obviously know that in Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, we had our mercenaries, and we know that in Vessels of Hatred, we're going to be getting the mercenaries coming back into the game, which is fantastic. I hope there's a level of detail that we can evolve and update that character to a point where we can kind of make them compete basically how we want them to compete in perfect relevance to our actual character and the build that we're planning with their character as well. So it's really interesting to get the companion back, and this is kind of a good introduction to a companion back into the game as well. It's not necessarily absolutely crazy companion, but it's a companion. It's help into this game, which is a pro, I believe. One of the other ones that I will say is that it's higher mob rate spawns that I have seen. The Herald of Malphas, I believe is what it's called, gives you a lot of great opportunity to spawn a ton of mobs there for the XP boost. And it's actually very simple to actually get the cores from the adjacent towers and pretty much stack those up X amount of times, and then go to this Herald of Malphas and pretty much hand everything in and then just get a bunch of mobs. You can do this multiple times. If you're multiple people, they can do it as well, and it affects you as well, and so on and so on and so on. Once you get the big boss, you also get a special rune for your companion, that once you get that rune, if you get additional double duplicates of it, it stacks on top of one another, leveling it up as well as it progresses along the way. So the one pro I will say with the new season is that you will get higher mob rates, easy to get resources to bring in these mob rates, so you can get your XP a lot more higher and a lot more quicker, which is actually really, really beneficial for individuals who want to get the levels out like that. That is my only pros. Let's move on to the cons. In regards to the trap dungeons, it's very underwhelming. It's very, and I hate to say this, but boring. Because at this point in time, what you're trying to do is just not hit traps, and there is an exorbitant amount of traps? There's an exorbitant amount of traps in these dungeons, and it just becomes kind of more tedious than anything, and more annoying having to go through these to get to the final chests that give you specific ruins, and if you have any more favors, you can open up another chest there that gives you additional loot and also potential another rune. So there's a lot about that just is one thing, but it just doesn't seem like something I want to do over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, if you're a character that doesn't have a lot of great maneuverability, it just kind of puts you in a position where, like, you really have to make sure that you know where you are positioned. The rogue can just go in and out of those very easily. The barbarian, specifically in this season, is very quick, very powerful. I'm actually using an upheaval build with him as well, but he's very quick. And the upheaval to charge build, it's just a powerful beast. But in general, in itself, it's one of these things. They seem very clunky. They are extremely close-knit, meaning that these traps are all over the place. There are surprises at times as well. And I'm not saying that you can't go through them without hitting these traps in any way. You will hit them or you won't hit them. It's just how you're playing or how you're able to play it. But it just seems like a tedious thing to do over and over and over and over again. And it's just, in the end, and I've done a few of them, it's just not fun. And I hate to say that, it's just not fun having this. Like, I don't care about traps. If I'm gonna go through a trap, I'm gonna go through a trap. But now you're penalizing me for going through a trap because, frankly, it's not going to kill me. But now I have to watch out because I need to keep a favor stack on me because I gotta open this special chest in the end to get a special rune for this. And speaking of that, let's talk about this Seneschal. It's great to see companions being reintroduced to Diablo 4 because Diablo 2 and 3 had the mercenaries that we could control and we could add equipment to, and we specify how they played in conjunction with our player style as well. So it's cool to see that we're starting to get companions back, as we know that in Vessel of Hatred we're going to be getting the mercenaries. But the companion we're getting for Season 3 just seems so underwhelming that there's just nothing there that really puts any type of care involved in them. The ruins mechanic, even though it may seem like a simplistic concept, was not explained easily, or not explained well. And secondly, the actual ruins itself is really frustrating because depending on how much you want to make and how strong you want your companion, you have to grind for hours and hours to stack a specific amount of ruins on top of one another. Because when you get duplicates, they will stack on your ruin. But sometimes you need to get 3, then 6, then 10, then 12, then 20, then so on and so on and so on for it to start ranking up. And that means you have to continuously spam these mob bosses over a period of time that just absolutely drives you up the wall. That is what will make these trap dungeons very much more appealing, because you can get multiple ruins at the end. The Herald of Malphus, their world events, they themselves will give you 1 that you have to actually do. So it's one of these things where it is an absolute grindy concept to update this little. In the end, if it can be powerful and help you, then that's obviously your appeal if you'd like to do that. But I think that in itself just seems very underwhelming, and the intention to make him feel worthy is extremely overwhelming, because you have to put in so many hours to be able to do it, and it's absolutely ridiculous. The one other thing that I want to talk about is the seasonal world events as well. They're very simplistic. Now, I understand I talked about how you get a lot of mob bosses with them, and that's great. You get mob bosses galore with them, get your XP up, you get it up very quickly. But they're also just very kind of brain dead simple, where you just go to a tower, grab its core, go to another tower, grab its core, go to another tower, grab its core. You don't have to fight anyone. You can just go to the tower, go into it, make sure you're not hit by the trap so you don't actually disrupt you taking the core, and then go to another one, get 3 of them, come back, do the Herald of Malphus, and there you go. Because the other resource you need to get, you get a crap ton, so it's not really even a consideration to be worried about the second resource you have. But the first one to get those cores, those are the priorities. But again, it's just such a simplistic concept, because going to the towers, you don't need to fight anything. You just go to the towers, grab it, go. Grab it, go. Grab it, go. Put it here, get mobs. It's just kind of a brain dead seasons event, and it just doesn't feel enjoyable. It doesn't feel like there's been put a lot of thought into it. It's just kind of like, oh, here, let's just do this. Okay. It's one of these things where, again, if you want to keep us going for a long period of time, specifically in a season that's supposed to be lasting for 3 to 4 months, or 3 months, you really want to do something that makes us keep wanting to do this. And I understand the concept here is that we have to get these ruins to be able to update our Seneschal, and also get his ruins and abilities leveled up. Also, just to let you know too, there are multitudes of ruins and also multitudes of the main ruins that you have as well. So you have to do this X amount of times, and you would hope to get the specific ruin to level up and rank up your specific ruin. So that's why I'm saying there's hours and hours of just doing this in hopes that you get the proper ruin dropped for you to rank up. It's just ridiculously stupid. Let's talk about the new boss as well. The new boss, he's a spamaholic, is all I can really refer to him as. He is absolutely a spammy guy that just spams attacks and traps, and that's all he is. He just seems so simplistic. I have legitimately no draw to go fight him again. I don't care. I don't care if he's not moving around. There's nothing about him that seems special. All he does is he calls up this tower here, go kill that tower. Here's a trap, 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 trap. Here's another tower, go kill that tower, trap, 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 trap. He's and I understand the concept here. They developed a character that was stationary, and it was a different type of boss that you need to compete, because he's not moving around, he's stationary. But you gotta really think about it this way. How many stationary bosses have we had in Diablo? It's not necessarily a good type of boss to have in Diablo, because you want to keep moving, you want to keep going, and yes, the traps are there to make you move and make you think of what you want to do next. But again, it's just one of these things where there's just not really a lot of attention to detail, because all he's doing is spamming his traps, he's spamming his towers, he's just doing the same thing over and over again, and in the end, without him not moving, you just have one focal point that you can just attack at. My most annoying con in all of this is there is legitimately no draw whatsoever to continue playing with the Seneschal, whatever the hell his name is. There's no draw in improving him or playing for him, because when the season ends, we're not going to have him. And the reason why I say this is because look at all of the seasons prior to this. We had the season of the Malignant, we had the season of Blood. All of the special effects and special ruins and special abilities we had have always been removed. So why would this one season, where we have the season of the construct, where we have this little companion, why all of a sudden would this companion stick with us? So all the hours and in details and labor that you're spending to get these ruins, to get this little spider to its next top level or a higher tier level, why does it matter? Because they won't be here in the long run. And all of the work that you put into at the end of the season gets thrown away. Unless these guys give us a curveball and say, no, he's going to be there and exact same how you ended him, he's going to be the power exactly as it's set up. Okay, then that's more of a draw, because if I get to keep him after the fact and he's going to be as powerful as he is now after the fact, yes, I will drive to do whatever it is I need to do to get this guy as most powerful as I possibly can. But until then, what is the draw? Explain to me what is the draw to update a companion that has no future and our future progression at all in this game. That is my biggest issue I have with this season. The companion is great. It's a reintroduction, but I have no draw whatsoever to upgrade him because he will not be here later on. Now, obviously, they may come back and say the companion itself, the abilities won't be there. However, they are returning with pets, which is fantastic. If I can have this companion go around picking up money and material for me, great, fantastic. I'll be happy with that. But again, that still bypasses the concept of me having to work my ass off to get this spider as powerful as I possibly can in a season that has no benefit whatsoever for me in the future. Oh, let me just actually stop right there. I'm going to do a post edit on this just to pretty much give an insight of what I'm talking about. When I talk about this season, I'm only speaking on behalf of the new mechanics for the construct. I'm not speaking on the battle pass and the new skins and the new weapon modifications that you can get or anything. So please make note, I'm only talking about the construct in itself and the value that it has for the player. And because that will not continue on. Battle Pass is different. When you get those skins, they continue on with you for the rest of your adventures in Diablo 4. But it is the construct that I am merely focusing on. I just wanted to get that because I know there'd be somebody in the comments being like, well, actually, no. Back to the video. That is my biggest issue I have with Season 3 in Diablo 4 right now. There is nothing there that's making me want to play this season because frankly, I do not care about the spider because he will not be here. We've always seen that little tab in our inventory slots that has all the special abilities for the Season of the Malignant, for the Season of Blood. This exact same area, and every single time a season transpires, that tab disappears, everything we've had prior to that disappears. So what is the point of upgrading a spider or a companion that is not going to be here next season, and everything we've done is thrown out? I think it's a very valid question. It's a very valid question, and I don't necessarily think that that was even considered. But what do you think? What has been your favorite things about Season 3? What has been your not favorite things about Season 3? And tell me if you enjoy it. Like, if you come back and say, listen, I actually am really enjoying Season 3, that's fantastic. I'm not telling you that no one should not enjoy a game. Games are intended to be subjective. They're intended for you to like and dislike. If somebody likes it, great. If somebody doesn't like it, that's also great. You're allowed to not like something because you just feel not connected to it. But I feel for myself, I played enough seasons in Diablo to understand, well, Diablo in general, to understand that what can benefit it and what cannot benefit it. And I feel that this is just not a beneficial season. And that's already 2 seasons. That's not 2. That's already 2 seasons out of 3 seasons that this Diablo 4 has come out with. So again, this is a lot of like, what is going to happen? Now I know this season also we're coming out with leaderboards that's going to be coming down the line, which I know is going to drive people to play. And also drive people to improve the companion because that will prove to that. But again, I will always say this, when it comes to the companions, you're coming from a game where we ourselves have been the focal point of damage of clearing house. Why is a companion going to change that? A companion is just going to be there doing whatever it is that they do, while we as the players who have grown infatuated in making our characters an absolute massive beast or beastess on the playing field, companion is just a secondary concept. And now if we're looking at leaderboard, the main focus is still us as the actual player trying to get as far as possible on that leaderboard, and the companion is just there as kind of support if need be. I actually don't even know, is even the companion allowed to take part in the leaderboards? I don't even think they are. And if they're not, then what's the point for the companion? Anyways, it just coincides back to my main issue that the companion itself feels underwhelming and unnecessary because we're not going to be able to get them for later on down the line as well. It's a null void concept here that it's just not going to help anyone as we progress in the season. So let me know your thoughts. Do you enjoy it? Do you dislike it? What do you enjoy? What do you dislike? And do you plan on still playing Diablo 4? Because I know a lot of people have said that they don't want to. So let me know in the chat. Thank you so much for watching. Please do me a favor, if you like this video, leave a like. It helps a lot. If also you want to help the channel, leave a subscription. Also, make sure to watch this video to the end because it does really help a lot, guys. It really, really does. Even a comment does help a lot with the algorithms. Thank you so much for watching. Much love to every single one of you. And for me, to you, make sure to heal. Please heal, and I will see you in Sanctuary.